Dark screen. Faint heartbeat sound. Slow zoom on your face, lit only by a flickering light. Imagine getting a letter in the mail. There's no return address, no name, just a strange symbol, a circle with a cross through it. Inside, there's a message filled with random letters and numbers. The writer claims he's killed before, and he's going to kill again. Now, imagine that letter was real. That's exactly what happened in the summer of 1969. Cut to black and white footage of San Francisco streets, eerie music building, police officers, journalists. Even top code experts, they all tried to solve the mystery. The killer calls himself Zodiac, and his game was simple. He murdered, then mocked everyone trying to catch him. Every time they thought they were getting close, another body would appear, and another letter would arrive. Look straight into the camera. Whispering, he said, "I like killing people because it's so much fun. This is Black Book. Cinematic cut, it all." Started on a quiet night in Northern California. Two young people were parked on a dark, secluded road, just talking, when out of nowhere headlights appeared behind them. A man stepped out of the car, walked toward them, and fired without saying a single word. Moments later, he was gone. There were no witnesses, no motive, just death. Days later, local newspapers received a letter. It started with the chilling words, "This is the Zodiac speaking." The letter included details that only the killer could possibly know. The police immediately realized this wasn't a random act of violence. It was a message. You see, Zodiac didn't just kill, he performed. He craved fame. He wanted to instill fear. He needed attention. Each murder was followed by another coded letter, filled with bizarre symbols that even the top cryptologists at the FBI and CIA struggled to break. In one of his first letters, he claimed the code would reveal his identity. But even after all these decades, parts of it remain completely unsolved. Visuals, fast flashes of the letters, the killer's handwriting, investigators examining papers. The first cipher, known as the 408 cipher because of its 408 characters, was actually cracked not by an expert, but by a high school teacher and his wife. The translated message was horrifying. It read, "I like killing people because it is so much fun. It is more fun than killing wild game in the forest." He compared human beings to animals. He called murder the most thrilling experience. But here is the most chilling part. He said that his victims would become his slaves in the afterlife. Zoom close up. A low, eerie hum is heard. Who thinks like that? Who writes to the police, taunting and daring them to catch him, and signs every single letter with that cryptic symbol, a circle and a cross? Zodiac wasn't just a killer. He was an artist of chaos. He would watch as his crimes turned into front-page headlines, knowing that he controlled the fear of an entire city. But behind all that confidence, investigators found something darker, a man who was deeply, pathologically desperate for attention. Each killing grew bolder, each letter more taunting and arrogant. He even threatened to shoot children as they got off their school buses. Parents, terrified, stopped sending their kids to school. San Francisco was living in a state of pure terror. Footage, old news broadcasts showing worried faces, crowded police stations, detectives chased hundreds of leads. The main suspect for a long time was a man named Arthur Lee Allen. He seemed to fit the profile perfectly. He owned and wore a Zodiac brand watch. He lived near some of the murder scenes, and people who knew him said he had a violent temper and a disturbing fascination with the case. But there was never enough direct evidence to convict him. When DNA testing finally became available years later, his DNA didn't match the samples found at the crime scenes. The case against him fell apart. Again, even after 50 years. Nobody truly knows who he was. Some say he was a criminal genius. Others say he was just a coward hiding behind his letters and codes. But the truth, maybe he was both. Camera slowly pans around you, sitting in a dark room with files and papers scattered everywhere every few years. New amateur detectives and so-called experts claim they've finally solved it. They'll say Zodiac's real name is Gary Post, or some other long-forgotten suspect, but none of it has ever been proven. The mystery remains. The codes, they still whisper, unsolved, and that's what makes the Zodiac Killer so terrifying. He could be dead. He could be alive. He could have been your neighbor. Cut to the flashing symbol of the Zodiac sign. Silence when you finish this episode. Make sure you go back and watch our previous one. It connects directly to this story. You'll start to understand how fear, fame, and obsession can twist a human mind beyond all repair. Music builds. A low heartbeat returns. They say that time heals everything. But some mysteries simply refuse to die, and somewhere hidden in those letters, maybe the Zodiac is still laughing. Are you ready for a real scare? This story gets even darker. Watch until the end. And if you get scared, hit that subscribe button and let us know in the comments the creepiest thing you've ever heard. Thanks for watching.